Yo, what is good, guys? I'm back from my trip. I am super excited to get back into the markets, make some money again, and I got a ton of stuff to show you guys. We're going to be looking at some semiconductor plays, biotech, as well as shorting pharmaceutical plays because there's a lot of companies that do nothing but go down, and I'm going to try and spot those, hop in them, low short, borrow fees, and all of that. So, a lot of good stuff in this video. So make sure to watch the whole thing. And yeah, let's just get into it. So make sure to show this video some love, give it a like and subscribe. And yeah, let's just hop into it. So I'm a little tired. I had a pretty early flight. I got a lot of jet lag. Flew across the U.S. today, so yeah, I'm a little groggy, but I want to show you guys all of this stuff that I've come across in the past few days. So we're gonna start with SPY. Um, if you're in the Discord, I did a day trade last Thursday on this drop, where I was calling for that bounce. Said this is the spot to bounce from, and we got that. We got the bottom on the dot, and yeah, look where we are now. So before my trip, I closed all of my positions except my SPY shares. So the shares I had from 365 all the way back here, I'm still holding those. Um, I think I'm waiting to load those off if we get a little higher, which I am aiming for. But we'll see how that goes. The next few days, I think you'll see a little more choppiness, maybe more upside, a pullback. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I closed out all my positions. I took profit on that LabVIEW. Um, I honestly forget all the positions. I had Facebook, or Meta. But yeah, you can go back to my last video, whatever I said. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for SPY. I think there's a little more upside. You got earnings this week, so that starting this week. So that could be a big driver. But other than that, I think we got a little more upside before new lows. So if you're in that Discord, I've been talking about uh, what I'm really looking for. I want to be long short term on SPY, long on oil maybe, which we're going to look at right now. And I think I'm going to be going short on biotech, which we're going to look at, as well as maybe going long on semiconductors. You have Pelosi's husband, doing all the insider trading on AMD or whatever, right before that bill gets passed for all the funding into semiconductor infrastructures. So yeah, that could be a good bet that I think I will be taking this week, but we'll see how Monday goes. Monday, Tuesday, we're going to talk about oil. So, I've been tracking this for a while. I shorted on the day of the top. I sold here, shorted again here, sold it here. And because it did not hit my target, which threw me off, I didn't trade it. It did this whole move, which was very awkward, and then finally hit my target again, or officially hit my target. And even went under it to hit this trend line. So it's a very interesting setup. I still think there's a big potential for a bull flag breakout where you break out of this trend line right here, and whatever that is, you can measure it out. But I'm not really looking at that breakout yet until we can get, especially through this trend line right here. This is a big one. This could be a wedge, which I will make it a little more clear. So you have your A, B, C, D, E. So if it's starting here, it's a little hard to say with these 2 points, but if you can count it like this, A, B, it's a little awkward, but I'm gonna keep that as a scenario. After your E touch, you get your breakout. You break out of this wedge right here. This wedge, you break out of that. You test this thing, maybe get you pullback, breakout. So that's one thing I'm really looking for. I don't think it's a fantastic time to be bearish on oil. We've had a considerable drop here. That's quite the drop. So, everything needs relief at some point. And yeah, I'm not going to be shorting this unless, that bottom trend line gets broken. So that's really the only reason I would be going short on oil. Other than that, I'm bullish, but I'm still waiting for more confirmation and more signals or break of those upside resistances. So I want to move on to let's talk about the semiconductors quick, because I have a lot to talk about on biotech, and it'll be a little more than this. So I just want to tell you guys what I'm thinking about this. This is as you can see, semiconductor leverage ETF. So um, you know, if the sector's going up, this is gonna move big. So got a lot of gaps here. It's an interesting setup because it seems like it's forming a bottom here. It is quite oversold here. I'm gonna put up the MACD, the RSI. These are my favorite indicators. Yeah, you can see that RSI is testing the moving average. The MACD is starting to turn up. So interesting spot to say the least. It's testing this downtrending support. Kind of rough, but you can see what I'm looking at. And on the daily, I believe, yeah, the MACD crossed over already. I think there's, yeah, massive divergences on the MACD, where the MACD is making higher lows and the price is still going lower. So you have higher lows while the price has only been going down. So that's quite the divergence. I'm not sure if it is that big of a significance, because I've seen it on these other ETFs, and sometimes it doesn't really matter, especially in these kind of waterfall, just slow bleed downtrends. But it's definitely something to consider, because this is quite the divergence here. So got a lot of gaps. You got that bill, which if it gets passed, you're gonna get, I believe it's $2 billion in funding for semiconductor infrastructure bill, and that would pretty much undoubtedly make the sector go up for a bit. And you got Pelosi, she's got some insider information, and if she's in on this, that kind of gives me a little confidence boost on my thesis for this. So this is what I'm watching. I might be getting into this week, but it's looking bullish so far. You might have an inverse head and shoulders here. So yeah, there's a lot of signals on this. I'll be watching that. And for the big one, which if this is going to go the way I want it to, I'm going to be going extremely heavy in it. But LabU, I called this out quite a while ago. I've been watching it since back here. If you're in the Discord, we were buying back here. All the way back here. We were just watching this, waiting for that big break. And we finally got that break. And today, when I was on my flight, I was actually looking at this, and I did not know there was a gap here. And it seems like that was the main goal for LabU, to get up there. It went all the way to that gap and instantly fell. And if you're in the Discord, we took our profits at 971 or 961. One of those. So, good exit, good entry. All the way down here, 50-60% on shares. And if you were options, 700%. So that was a good play. And I'm looking to do the inverse now, which is LabD. So this is also an interesting area. You're near a big supply zone where you can see there's a lot of accumulation here, and this goes much lower than this. How much lower is this? 20-30%. So there is definitely downside on this. This is something I'm watching, not necessarily like eager to enter. You want to be patient in this market, especially if you want to get those good entries instead of having to average down and all of that, which I'm not a fan of. I usually don't do that. So I wait for those entries where, I like the price for whatever it is I'm watching. So biotech, we might have a little upside. It's a very tricky chart, to be honest. You're in this triangle, which I'm not sure if it's bearish or bullish yet, but we have moved pretty well to the upside already. So I'm not sure why this is lagging, but it might have a little more upside. But I do think at some point it's going to be Lab D's turn to be the player. So I'm really watching this because I think this could get a big bounce if it gets to some big supports, and if LabU gets that pullback. And these are the ETFs to be watching if you're looking for more signals to see where LabU can top out, and that's when you would play the inverse on LabD. So I think we're going to see a decent move on LabU tomorrow and Tuesday when it breaks out of this triangle. So it'll be soon, but I'm really watching that. So a lot of plays. I hope you watched all of this because there's a lot of money making opportunities in the market. I do have one more thing to share with you on SPY, some important trend lines, because I did not spot this until I was on the plane actually. SPY broke out of a huge wedge here, so that's where this huge breakout came from. You had a considerable wedge here, so I can't believe I missed this. I made money on it, but I did not identify this pattern while it was forming. So yeah, you have a decently sized wedge here, which is playing out right now. So that's where this breakout came from. I have been aiming for 396. I believe I've said that in my previous videos. Low 400s, like I've been saying. 420, 430. But it's a race against time here. The longer it takes, the lower those targets are going to be. So I'm not going to be bearish going into August, or I'm not going to be bullish going into August unless things change somehow. But yeah, the main things I'm really looking at right now are long short-term on SPY, long on oil if I get that good setup that I'm looking for, short on biotech, which I'm also waiting for a better setup, and long on semiconductors. So a lot of things to consider here. Those are just things for you to watch in the next coming weeks. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this video. Excited to get back into the markets and keep making those videos, but that's where I'm gonna leave this one. Make sure to show this video some love if you watched the whole thing through, and I'm gonna have the Discord and the link down in the description if you want to check that out. I'm not sure why you wouldn't. So yeah, we'll see how tomorrow goes. It's gonna be a fun week to trade, and yeah, peace out, guys.